Would you tell everybody your name?
Ashley Swift.
And are you related to David and Karen Swift?
Yes, I'm their daughter.
And how old are you now?
I'm 22. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We're going to take our time, okay? It'll be okay. Let me just ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Would you like some water or something?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. You're not used to testifying, so let me just ask you a few things, okay?
Okay.
Now, you remember when your mother went missing?
I do.
How old were you back then?
I was 9.
And were you close to your mother?
I was very close to her.
All right. And were you in school at that time?
I was.
About what grade was that for you?
I think 3rd or 4th grade.
And you lived at the house with your mother and father?
Yes, sir.
Was your sister living there at the time?
She was.
Is she older or younger than you?
She's younger.
How much younger, can I ask?
About 4 to 5 years. She's 18 right now.
Okay. And when y'all lived there, was your father working out of town? Before?
He was.
Were you aware then where your father was working?
Yes.
And was that out of town?
It was. It was about 45 minutes away.
Would your dad be gone during the week, or was he gone during the weekend working?
No, it was just the week.
And your mother, do you remember, was she working sometimes during the period right before she's missing?
She would do like odd jobs of like landscaping or cleaning and things like that.
Now, where y'all lived at the house, y'all had lived there, I guess, a few years before your mother went missing?
Yes.
And you knew some of the neighbors or aware of some of the neighbors?
Yes.
Did you know who the Nathys were?
Yes, they lived the house before us.
And did you know where Mr. Hogshooter lived, or you aware of him?
I was.
And in fairness, you were pretty young at this time.
I was, yeah.
And are there things that you don't have a real good memory of, details?
There are some things, but there are some things that I definitely remember.
Well, let me ask you about those. Do you remember a day or two before your mother went missing, going to stay with a friend at their house?
I do.
Was that the day before or a couple days before?
It was the Saturday.
And you remember what friend you went to stay with?
Yes, I do.
Was it Dyersburg?
It was like Newbern right there, where Dyersburg and Newbern.
And were you intended on spending the night?
Yes, sir.
And is there some reason why you didn't spend the night?
So it was me, the girl's house that I was at, and another girl. And I feel like whenever you're young and you get in a situation with 3 girls, somebody feels left out, and I felt left out and just wanted to go home to my mom.
Was there something about a pimple or something that you...
I think I just kind of used that as an excuse to get out of there, but I really just missed my mom.
And because of that Saturday evening, did you call your mom?
Yes.
And what did you request of your mother?
I asked her to come pick me up to take me home.
And did your mother respond?
She did. She came and got me.
And of your own knowledge, did you know where your mother had been when you called her?
No, I didn't know where she was. I just knew that she was out with friends.
Did you know which friends, or?
No, but...
Did your mother always explain to you where she was going, or tell you where she was going?
Not always.
Were there some times that your mother would just leave and you would get upset?
Yes, there were many times where she would leave and I would beg for her to stay because she was gone all the time.
And did your mother come pick you up that Saturday night?
Yes.
Or early Sunday morning? Are you sure which?
I'm not 100% sure which, but I know that it was later into the night.
And then when your mother picked you up, did she pick you up in her car?
She did.
And where did y'all go after that?
We went home, back to our house where my sister and my dad were.
And do you recall getting out of the car or going to the house? Do you recall everything about that night?
Yeah, we came into the house and we went to sleep in her bedroom, the master bedroom. Me and her went to sleep in the bed.
You slept in the same room as your mother?
Yes, sir.
All right. You know exactly what time it was that you got there?
I don't know the exact time, but I know that it had to have been into the night, past midnight.
As you and your mother come in the house, do you either hear or have contact with your father?
Yes, I remember him checking on us, making sure we were okay and that we got inside, and checking on my mom to make sure that she was okay.
And did you and your mother go to bed then?
We did.
And did you go to sleep pretty quickly, or?
Yeah, I fell asleep pretty quickly. I was tired, so being home with her.
Now, after that, did you aware of being moved or your mother getting up?
Yes, I remember her moving me in the middle of the night to my sister's room, in the bed with her.
In the bed with your sister?
Yes.
Is that on the same floor as your mother's?
It is. It's the bedroom right beside.
You recall it being your mother that moved you?
I know it was her. It was just instinct to know what your mother feels like and how that felt.
Okay. That's your best recollection?
Yes, sir.
And did you open your eyes and look, or?
I feel like I briefly, foggy, opened my eyes and just knew that I was being moved into another bedroom with my sister, but I didn't fully wake up.
Are you, do you know what your mother, whether she left or not after that?
I don't.
Now, after you got in bed with your mother and you got moved, you don't know if she went out and did things on the computer or downloaded pictures, do you?
I don't know.
All right. And I guess did you wake up sometime the next morning, that Sunday morning?
I did.
And what did you do?
I remember it was a little bit late because I was going to go clean the house with my mom that morning. And I knew that it was a little bit later into the morning than she would normally go do things because she was always up at 6, 7 a.m. going to do things. So I knew it was past time for that.
Did you feel like you had missed her?
Yes.
All right. Were you aware she was going to go somewhere and clean a house?
I was.
And were you intended on going with her?
I was.
Now, was your mother there when you woke up?
She was not.
And was your father there when you woke up?
He was.
And I guess after some period of time, on into the morning and on towards lunch, is your father at the house with you and your sister?
He was.
And did y'all leave at some point?
Yes, we left to go see where somebody had told him where her car was.
And did you have any idea yourself who called?
Not at that point until he took us to that person.
Who was the person?
It was the Lambs, Jennifer Lamb.
All right. And before, you don't remember exactly what time that was that day, do you?
I don't remember.
Or that afternoon?
I don't recall.
Do you recall getting in the vehicle with your father and your sister and driving up away from your house?
Yes.
And do you recall where y'all went?
We went to where her car was, and me and my sister stayed in the car.
Did your father get out?
He did briefly.
And did you observe him going up to the car, or did you observe him going in the car, or did you really notice or remember?
I didn't really pay attention. I think I was just talking to my sister in the car.
And y'all were there for a period of time?
It wasn't a long time.
Right. That's fair. Whatever you recall. And after your dad got back in the vehicle, y'all's vehicle, where did y'all go?
He took us to the mall to meet Jennifer Lamb.
And did she keep y'all or just entertain you? Or?
She just kept us for a little bit until we went back to her house.
And when your dad took you to the mall to Miss Lamb, did he leave y'all with her?
He did.
And he drive off in his car?
Yes, sir.
Now, at some point that day or that evening, did you go back to your house?
I did later on. First, we went to her house and waited because there was a search being done. And after they conducted the search of our house, we went back.
That's what you recall?
Yes, sir.
All All right, you talked about you stayed with Miss Lamb until it was okay to come back.
Yes, sir.
Did your dad come get you, or did she drop you off, or do you remember?
I don't remember.
You got home somehow, but
I
you don't?
did. It was walking distance, so
Okay. Now, after that day, you were aware that your mother was missing.
Objection, lady.
Let me ask this. After the day your mother went missing, were there things going on at y'all's house that involved law enforcement coming in that you
Still
noticed?
leading.
After that day, were there things going on at your house that involved law enforcement?
yes. They
And
would come do searches at the house.
did that happen more than once?
It did.
To your knowledge, did it happen that Sunday or that Monday?
I don't recall.
And I only want to ask what you recall, okay? And then the days after that or the weeks after that, do you recall law enforcement coming to the house again?
Yes, there was a time where we were getting ready to leave, and I heard a knock on the door, and I looked outside, and there was a line of police officers with rifles lined up in our driveway.
And did y'all leave the house after that?
We did.
And where did y'all go?
I think we were planning on going to eat dinner, so we just went ahead and went and had dinner.
Did you know the neighbors, the Nathys?
Yes,
Did y'all ever go to their house?
we did.
Okay. Maybe, are you sure how many times?
I'm not 100% sure.
You were pretty young, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
And you did sit down and a lady did interview you, didn't she?
She did.
And she asked you some questions.
Yes, sir.
Now, did y'all at the Swift home at the time before your time your mother went missing, did y'all have dogs?
We did.
How many dogs did the Swifts have?
We had two before she went missing.
And was there an accident or something that happened to one of the dogs before your mother went missing?
Yes, sir. My mom accidentally backed over the small dog.
And was that near or around the garage area?
I don't recall 100% where it happened, but I
Right.
do know that we brought the dog up and said our goodbyes close to the house.
And you had another dog?
We did.
Now, was there a swimming pool at your house?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall at that young age swimming out there?
I do. We had pools all my life growing up, and that's how we spent our summers.
And was it a in-ground pool or above ground?
It was above ground.
And did your mother use it a lot?
She did.
And did your mother, to your knowledge, clean the pool, or
Yes,
and did other members of the family help with that?
I'm sure.
After your mother went missing, well, at the time, around the time before your mother went missing, were you aware that your father had a leg injury or not?
Yes, he did.
And I guess, did you see him on occasion before your mother went missing with an injury or notice an injury?
Yes.
How did you notice him?
He had crutches and a brace.
And months before that, did you yourself know that he had injured his leg or not months before that?
Yes.
And that he had an operation months
Yes.
before that?
Yes, sir.
Since your mother's been missing and since these years, have you continued with your education?
I have.
Yeah. Your father raised you and your family?
He did.
Objection, lady.
Did your father raise you and your family?
He did.
You have a brother?
I have two.
Did they go on to school or college?
They did.
Your sister?
She's about to start school, college.
The prosecutor may have questions.
Morning, Ashley. I'm truly sorry about your mother. You were 9 years old when your mother went missing, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at that time, your mom was sleeping downstairs. Is that
Yes, sir.
right? And your dad slept upstairs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you usually sleep with your mother?
Most nights.
Okay. Did Keely sleep with your mother?
Some nights.
Okay. Did she also sleep with your father?
Some nights.
Okay. And the night that you came home on October 29th, or maybe an early morning, October 30th, Keely was actually sleeping upstairs with your father, wasn't she?
I don't recall.
Okay. Where was Keely's bedroom?
It was downstairs by my mother's.
Okay. Did she ever sleep by herself?
Rarely, but there were occasions.
Okay. So would you agree that it's a good chance she was upstairs with your father then?
She could have been, I don't recall.
Okay. But she rarely slept in bed alone?
I mean, there were times, but
But it's pretty rare.
I don't know how often.
Okay. How old was Keely at that time?
She was 5.
5 years old? Okay. And you said that you went to bed with your mom. Do you recall how your mom was dressed?
I know that she just had like some sort of T-shirt on before we went to bed.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you recall being moved sometime in the night to the bed with Keely?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Which was downstairs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you really don't know who moved you, do you?
Oh, I know it was my mother.
How do you know that?
It's instinct to know your mother versus somebody else. You have that bond with that person and you know who it is.
But you didn't actually see her?
No, but I felt her.
Okay. All right. But you didn't wake up?
I didn't fully wake up, but I was in that foggy phase where I could tell that it was my mother, and I felt her.
Okay. So you weren't completely awake and coherent about what was going on then?
No, sir.
Okay. So you actually don't know for sure then, do you?
I mean, I have a pretty good instinct to feel
Okay.
what my mother feels like.
Okay. When you got home, where was your father?
I don't remember exactly if he came downstairs or stayed upstairs.
Okay. Did you see him?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you know if your mother talked to him?
I know that he checked on us and made sure we made it home.
What did he say?
I don't recall.
Do you know where your mother was when she talked to him?
In the living room.
Okay. And he was upstairs?
I don't recall.
You don't know? Okay. How did your father get upstairs with an injured knee?
There would be times where he would sit down backwards and scoot up the stairs.
Okay. Is that what he typically did?
I think so.
Okay. And the next morning when you woke up, was your father already awake?
I don't remember.
You don't remember if you went and woke him up or if he was already up?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you said your mom ran over a dog?
She did.
What happened to the dog?
It passed away.
Okay. What kind of injuries did it have?
I have no idea. It was a small dog.
Did you see it?
I did.
Okay. Was there a lot of blood?
Yeah, it was bleeding out of the mouth, and
Okay. It wasn't inside the garage though, was it?
I don't recall 100% where it was. It was either right there on like the edge of the gravel garage area.
Okay. Which would be not the smooth part of the garage, it's the gravel part.
Well, right there where they meet.
Where the gravel and the garage meet.
Yes.
Okay. And you had a swimming pool? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you swam in it often?
We did.
Okay. You didn't swim in it in October, did you?
I mean, I don't know exactly when the pool was closed.
Okay. If it was 50 degrees outside, you wouldn't have been swimming, would you?
No, sir.
Okay. So there wouldn't have been a need to clean the pool if it was wintertime or it was in the fall where it was cold, would it?
Well, if we were closing the pool down and cleaning it.
Okay. That would be the only reason.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One moment, John. It's all yours.
Pretty good?
Yes. The morning you woke up, after your mother brought you home that Sunday, did you have occasion to look around the house or be in the house? Were you at the house before you and your dad left with your sister?
Like, once I woke up, we were.
Yeah. It's funny how we ask questions, I know. Did you hear anything at night, or did anything wake you up once you went to sleep about a fight or a disturbance?
No, sir.
Did you hear anything out of the ordinary?
No, sir.
Did you hear a fight or a struggle in a room where somebody's clothes were being torn off?
No, sir.
Did you hear anybody yelling or saying help or anything?
No, sir.
When you got up, did you look in your mother's room sometime that day?
I went to look and see if she was in there.
Did it in the room that y'all both, the room she stayed in?
Yes, sir.
Did you see anything that was out of ordinary or looked like somebody had been fighting in the room?
No, sir.
Did it look consistent with what you saw before the night before?
Yes, sir.
Did you smell any bleach or strong odors when you got up?
I did not.
Or around the house when you walked around that mid-morning up till after lunch?
No, sir.
The next day?
No, sir.
Or in the days following?
No, sir.
Just one second. Thank you, ma'am.
What kind of housekeeper was your mom?
What kind of housekeeper?
Yes.
I don't understand the question.
Did she keep the house clean?
Not always.
What did it usually look like?
I mean, it was messy most times.
Do you remember how the bedroom was the night that you got home?
I don't remember everything about it, but
Okay, that's fine.
No more questions.
You can step down. Yes, ma'am, you can.
She's released.
She just asked me if she could sit in the gallery, and I said that she could.